Hey guys, it's Targan. Welcome back to Diablo 2. And we are playing hardcore. We're in Act 2. And, well, all we gotta do is find some bones, get this show on the road. Where's the way out? Alright, so there's a couple things you gotta do in Act 2. One is not have the wrong weapon on. You don't have to do that, I just recommend it. The other one is sell off the junk that you're carrying around. That's also not necessary, but it's still very important. Oh my goodness, I need to learn how to use this controller. Oh no, I almost sold that, but that's a magic find ring. The best kind of ring. Alright, I'm just gonna... Alright, seems fine. Magic find is better than max damage by far. It's not very much magic find. It's in percentages, but magic find, I'm not going to pretend to know all of it off the top of my head, right? But it doesn't go out of 100. We can be very assured of that. So these are little charged beetles. That's pretty bad. Because they do, you know, a bunch of AoE damage. But fundamentally, if they don't kill everybody, you'll be fine. You know, relatively fine. Alright, so we did that to get some skeletons, but there's an area underneath this place, and we're gonna go there first because you get a skill book there. So Act 2 has some stuff that's theoretically skippable. All the acts do, but
Can't do that here.
But the sewers are very, very important. Because you get a skill book at the end, and well, you know, there's nothing better than getting a skill. I mean, it's not free, but it feels like it's free because, you know, you don't have to get a level for it. Now, these Burning Dead archers are high lethality, guys. They're miserable. We need to be keeping an eye out for random spears and stuff because our new mercenary, I think I still don't have a weapon on him, but there are a lot of areas inside Act 2 with narrow hallways that are a real misery. For summoners, especially because they will, you know, they'll get distracted by a wall. There, these Burning Dead archers. By making them fire at us, we actually either are going to die or heroically make a good choice. It ends up being a good one. If there were more in the next room, it could have went worse. But they got these sort of four-armed, reminiscent of like Goro from Mortal Kombat sort of guys. Starbang the Grim. He was extra strong, now he's extra dead. Get some Stargrim, if that even is your real name. Of course, being a summoner is all fun and games until there aren't any bones, which doesn't happen like super often. You saw earlier that like at the very beginning, you know, the very start of any playthrough is rough. Most specifically, just like right now, because my mercenary was fresh and, you know, didn't have anything. But normally you can just like, normally your mercenary can walk up to a bad guy and pop him in the face, but in some acts, like Act 4, sometimes you have very dangerous enemies as soon as you walk outside. And sometimes you gotta go back in time. Because we're really... like, we're killing all these dudes, and that's great, but we're not even... it's not on the first floor, there's a second floor, and that is where our objective is. I think that's true. It feels true. And there's a big old dude with a suspicious visage, and his name starts with an R or something. I really should know everything about this game, and I used to, but you know, head full of pudding. I used to think I remembered everything that I knew, but now I know I only remember what I remember, and that's not nearly as much as everything. As the play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead puts it, what's the first thing you remember remembering? I think that's how the line goes. I haven't, like, performed it. I haven't memorized. I've merely read it a whole lot of times. Another zombie head. Potential for wondrousness. Nope. Garbo. And because we happen to pick up some... because we happened to pick up some scrolls of Identify, I figured I would do it there rather than a little later. We've got more Burning Dead archers. We'll just ignore them. No, we can't really do that. There's a lot of them. We will just heroically destroy them all in relatively glorious combat. Alright, and there is the other entrance, because there are two. So that means it is probably just right here. Yep. Sometimes that's how it goes. If you go left, you don't always find what you need. But you gotta, you know, if you don't know, you just gotta choose. You may have often heard me about, like, choosing left or right and how you just have to pick. That largely is derived from my experience in Diablo 2 over a period of my whole life. No, I didn't play Diablo 2 whenever I was a young child. It wasn't out yet. Oh, I would have loved Diablo 2 whenever I was a little kid, though. I couldn't really play online at my house because our dial-up was too spotty. I mean, I could, it didn't work very well. Of course, if you have a bunch of summons, you just have to, which, again, this sort of like, maybe I would have been like a barbarian if I had a better computer and better internet when Diablo came out. But I don't think so. I think the call of the Necromancer would have always been too strong. It's just, for my money, it's the coolest kind of wizard there is. I get why people wouldn't like it very much, but I think it's cool. And I am out of mana pots, which should be okay, theoretically. Yeah, there's no point in going back right now since there's like gonna be a waypoint and/or resolution to the area soon. This is a waypoint that is entirely skippable. Like, so if you never need to go back, and you wouldn't care. Now, you might theoretically want this waypoint because, like, if you were playing with somebody else and you were running them through it earlier, which is called rushing, then maybe you could do that. But, you know, you don't really rush people in hardcore that you don't know. And, you don't really rush on a Necromancer until you can teleport, which, if I ever get to the point where I can teleport on a hardcore Necromancer, just consider me the victor of all of life, you know. Those burning dead archers, man, do they ever put the hurting down, but it's all good. We're gonna pop a body. The champion mobs, you know, drop 2 potions and a higher chance of good items. Like a unique, a named mob will have 4 potions, and then an even better chance. All right, so waypoint, waypoint.
Can't use this yet.
Looks like it's going to be another thing where we might have wanted to go right. It won't be right here. I could see from the wall formation on the mini-map that it couldn't have been here. That's just... There's no way to properly explain that. That's just experience, right? Like, I've played so much Diablo and I know how the areas are where I'm about to die here. And I know how the areas are. I can see if I can see like 2 walls of a room whether or not it can feasibly lead to a waypoint or like a boss room or whatever here. But yeah, now we go down to 3, and this will be where the dude with the name that probably starts with an R is at, probably. He does lots of damage, and he also resurrects the dead. He's sort of like me, but taller. We have leveled up, magnificent. I'm thinking we don't... Yeah, we can grab another mage even though they're bad, because they are very fun. And being cool is much more important. Charm. These normally are not good at this level, but there you go. 20 mana is actually like a lot. Yeah. I only have like 50 mana total, so we'll probably actually hold on to that Grand Charm. You can get that much almost like, well, in like 30 levels or so on a small, but like many items in the game, you know, the quality that you have access to goes up as you level up. So most of the time early charms aren't that good, but since we're playing hardcore, you know, anything that would give us like health, even if it wasn't that much health, we would probably carry even at the expense of the inventory space. There's a lot of choices you make on hardcore, not that you're going to learn it from watching me, an irresponsible person, but they involve going for defense and taking more vitality and dex points than you necessarily would. Like, often people wouldn't worry about dexterity block chance at all for summoning Necromancer, because it's like, you know, you're not going to get hit very often anyway. But on hardcore, where it makes more of a difference, you do it. And then sometimes, I'm getting into really arcane stuff here, sometimes you don't want to block at all, because there's an animation when you do. But here, Radamant, yeah, I was like, when I see his name, I'm going to immediately remember all of the hundreds and hundreds of times he has perished beneath my righteous hand. Relatively righteous. We are still a necromancer. He does very large amounts of poison damage. He's like a less dangerous Andariel. It doesn't make him undangerous, right? He's still a big tough guy. Now he's gonna blow up everything. Here we go. Book a skill. So we got this side. I think actually that the Merc can't use them or something, but I might be wrong. Oh yeah, the scroll. We do have to get the scroll. I remember. Yeah, we'll just come back. There's no point in suffering. I mean, there is a point in suffering. Like, that's what it means to be alive. I don't want to give you the impression that there's not a point in suffering. It is the most pointful thing there is. And when you figure out how not to suffer, then you don't have to worry anymore. I could have went to Deckard Cain. But yeah, like I said, I don't think they can wear them, but I was wrong. Some of them have like way too high of a dex requirement for the level. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm conflating a couple of concepts, as one does. We're just going to hold on to those rejuve potions for later. There's a way where you can jam 3 of them together to make a perfect rejuvenation potion, which will give you all of your resources back instantly. Which, as you can tell from the description, is roughly good. And now I'll pop in Deckard Cain, and he'll be super impressed.
The lost Horodric scroll.
And that reminds me, my coffee. So this is what it's all about right here. It's called a French press, but I bought mine here at home, in a place with a French name.
After binding Bale within Tal Rasha, magically sealed off his burial chamber from the mortal realm.
And it's the best way to have coffee, in my opinion.
And imbued them with the special power to open the chamber's hidden door. After nearly losing one to the thievery of a rogue sorcerer, they divided all the Horodric staves into 2 parts, wooden shaft and metal headpiece, hiding them separately.
But yes, this is the story of Act 2, as Deckard Cain is so carefully telling us.
Our current plight, and designed the hiding places to reveal themselves to worthy heroes like you. Collect both parts of a Horodric staff.
I love Deckard Cain. He's marvelous.
Then you may enter Tal Rasha's burial chamber.
Yep, and there you go. There's the exposition dump for Act 2. He's like, hey, if you do this, 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 and this, and then to save on postage a little bit more, then you'll arrive at this place. He doesn't know who's inside. Not yet. And nor do I. I mean, I do. I'm just gonna, whatever. So here we get a little bit of replenished life, which is not very good.
Greetings.
Oh no, there's not a hold this button to sort button, is there? Okay, apparently there is. Well, agony. Well, now I know.
Ask.
Well, that feels good. Alright, so we're just going to buy a bunch of lesser mana potions because we are about to get into it. There's going to be so many opportunities for me to use the wrong buttons. So let's just get to it. The mobs in early Act 2 are fairly lethal, and this is the real sweet spot for the mobs that we're going to be fighting, because they're going to be doing lots of different elemental damages, typically. And there's just a couple more levels until we get access to Summon Resist. And there's like this one little glorious time in the life of a Summon Necromancer where you have Summon Resist, but you're not in Nightmare difficulty yet, so you don't have a blanket reduction on all of your resistances, and your people feel so strong. This one's name is Plague Spawn, and now they're toasty. Ooh, a unique longstaff. Now, that is nice. So the thing about these things is you do share a stash with your other hardcore characters. So I will be putting these things into that, and then if we want to like later be like, hey, let's do an undead, you know, or a hardcore, not an undead, a hardcore like, you know, sorceress, then we already have like a cool item to work off of. And that is a very universal sort of way to play Diablo 2. Some people only play one character, but I think it's much more common for people to have like a farming character. And then whenever they two to Skelly Mastery and 2 to Corpse Explosion, and fast blocking and block rate. Yeah, it's better. It makes us lose a skeleton, but we can just take the point there to get back up to 6 from the earlier thing, so that's alright then. Act 2 is immense. Like the overworld portion is very, very large, and then all of the story stuff takes place inside of like internal spaces as well. It's pretty amazing, actually. Humorously, so like I keep talking about how people normally play. I don't know how people play. I just know how I have played and how I think other people play from forums and stuff. But like most people don't play the game like this if they're playing online. Only the very first character of any season would ever be even seeing these areas, right? Because somebody is going to have a sorceress, and they're just going to teleport around and send you town portals right in front of the quest items, and then you leave again. And you only level up exactly as much as you need to do in order for, like, a story thing to happen. But every time I get engaged with Diablo 2 like that, I just get so bummed because, like, it's not the game. I mean, it is, but sometimes it can be fantastically fun. Crystal swords look very pretty, but they are not necessary for the characters that we are using. There was one time when we had like a massive Diablo 2 party. There was a new ladder that dropped, and we brought multiple PCs over to my one friend's house, and you know, crammed them all in a room, and we were just, you know, stayed up all night, and had a big old party. Some of us playing sorceress, and some of us, you know, not playing sorceress. I love sorceress, but I just didn't want to play one on hardcore as the first character. I wanted to have at least something cool to look forward to with it. I really need a better belt. We're gonna check Atma for Farah, not Atma. Atma's the other lady. Yeah, alright, so these belts with 2 loops on them, 10 faster hit recovery, that is what we're gonna take. That is good. So these will have another whole level of belt loops, as you see.
Hello.
Which is functionally like getting more inventory space. And this is called the Serpent Lord. It's not for sorcerers, I should have remembered. So it's a huge mana leeching thing that, you know, it's a very strange weapon. But you could put it on like a barbarian and then you would get all of your mana back every time. We'll put it in the shared... No, we won't. We will use the wrong button again. We'll put it in the shared stash. But I actually really like Act 2. The music's beautiful, and it's a really cool story, I think. Alright, so here we have... I'm like, did I... It's like I was right by the waypoint, I didn't even see it. Anyway, so Halls of the Dead, we gotta go here. This is a place you never have to go to in higher difficulties. So in higher difficulties, what it does is just restart the game over, right? Same story, same everything. But you keep all of your items. Now, normally when you do a quest, they, you know, you lose the item at the end of it. You turn in the hammer for the quest about the hammer, right? And so on for all the other things. I could have gave more examples. I chose to, you know, temporize in this manner instead. So then, you go and get what's called the Herodric Cube at the end of this. Now, the cube is a quest item of quest items. It is the ultimate item of quests. The cube is used to turn items into other items. It's used to do all sorts of cool recipes. It's used to go to the secret cow level. Anyway, they don't take the cube away from you when you go to a new difficulty, because it would be like switching what was in your inventory when you got in and out of a world. Like if you went back to normal, what are they supposed to do? Give it back to you? How? In what slot would they put it? And so on. So you keep the Herodric Cube, and that is what you access here. The cube has, like all good trans-dimensional objects, a bigger space inside than on the outside. However, it's that's sort of like a an advanced thing when you really do have a ton of stuff you want to put in your inventory. It's not I don't normally carry the cube with me, although it's technically correct to do so, because I would rather just go to town when the inventory's full, right? You'll note me not picking up things sometimes, just like even though they appear to be rare. So that's a guitar. That's a unique item that goes to assassins, and I'm just not gonna play an assassin, right? So they also don't sell for very much typically, and I just figure it's not even worth checking. If it was a thing for a character that I really liked, like the Paladin or like the Sorceress, or a lot of characters, then I might pick it up just to be like, all right, maybe I could use this, you know, for another character. Because that is a huge part of what the joy of Diablo is collecting a bunch of things because you might use it later. You know, inventory management. But, you know, inventory management in Diablo is joyous because you can just make new characters and keep your stuff there. And then you go to my character named Socks, and you'll be like, why? Oh, for sockets. And then Charmant for, you know, charms. She's very charming. You know, and then, you know, dumb jokes like that.
I need mana.
And this guy is doing a ton of damage. That's what lightning enchant's all about. So he's just melting all my skeletons. He did get killed, but those guys are bad news. Anything lightning enchanted is it's a bane, right? Like it's as likely as anything else in the game to give you the end of your whole run. Because anything that does huge amounts of AoE damage runs the probability of melting basically all of your summons immediately. And you may be in an area where you don't have, you know, any more bodies to get because you just showed up there or whatnot. Yeah, so on this, it's like, oh, you got 4 of the waypoints. You must be like a third done, but not really. Act 2's huge. So what we're going to do now is hit the portal shrine, which is the dumbest shrine in the game. Some shrines are very amazing, and some shrines are a free town portal. Like, who's it for? Blizzard, why have you done this? And we're about to save some points because like my block needs to be 44. But yeah, we'll just save a couple points because we're gonna want to get Blood Golem, or actually we don't need to save a couple points. We don't need to save any points, do we? We don't have anything else at 18. Yeah, it's just Blood Golem. We could get Life Tap. I mean, we might as well. Life Tap can occasionally be relevant. There we go. And that's what it's all about. You just get a couple of bodies, and you start popping them. And the thing is, too, is Corpse Explosion does just a ton of damage. Just so much. So all you gotta do is get a little bit working, and as soon as you get one body or two, you're essentially to be able to create, you know, all of them. Which is, like, that's why I like the summon Necromancer in Diablo 2, and, like, it's an element that I think a lot of summons don't have in games. Like, the summoner is still very active, not, like, just keeping his guys alive, because even if your summons aren't dying, you're going to want to be corpse exploding, especially as you get better and better gear. and your mana pool can support it, although the mana cost goes up with your skill levels. So, because Corpse Explosion at higher skill levels has a really big area of effect. Why don't I just have a controller that comes undone and see if I will lose hardcore? Fantastic. You know, if I die because of the controller after complaining about it forever, then I will have gotten precisely what I deserved, in a manner of speaking. I try not to blame people when bad things happen to them, but I don't treat myself like people. I mean, I'm not people, I'm me. And if I don't blame myself for everything in the whole world, who's gonna? I mean, nobody else shows any willingness to blame me for things that couldn't possibly be my fault. So it falls on me to do what has to be done. Boom! And that is how it's done. I love the explosion of corpses. It's a weird thing to say, but you know, Diablo has a lot of sentences that start and end that way.
Not enough mana. I need mana.
A lot of these enemies, these zombies, they have like poison clouds. Not a lot of them, certain ones called decayed ones, and then their variants. And they do just like an absolute ton of damage. Far more that can be absorbed by a common summon creature. Now, you can avoid them, but it's really hard to convince your summons in this game to do anything, including hit what's in front of them, let alone, like, do something advanced like avoid a trap. You just sort of gotta think, if they die, they die. Make sure to, you know, tell all their friends what a good job they did. It won't be in that room because we can already see the parts of the wall that in this zone the doors would be in. It's very... I won't say it's rare. It doesn't happen here, right? That's not... we would see parts of another area from there if there was going to be a pathway. Because here we're not... this isn't going to find another way down or whatever. This is the final floor. But regardless, you can tell by looking at the shapes of the walls what can be there within. And here we go. Now, the final chamber. On the map, they've got a little sparkle chest that lets you know that you're close.
Not enough mana.
And the key here is just to get inside the door, because these guys resurrect dudes, right? But if you just annoy them like this, get your summons inside, and then you can use your superior corpse exploding skills, you know, to prosecute your advantage. So this is gonna be great, right? We're gonna go to town, and we're gonna walk up with this cube to Deckard Cain, and he's gonna go, "You have quite a treasure there in that Herodric cube," and it's just gonna make me so pleased, cause I'll be like, "I know, right?" Watch, it's gonna happen.
You have quite a treasure there in that Herodric cube.
Ah, glorious.
Herodric lore. The cube can restore a Herodric would a scroll. When
All right, so now it's like dark outside, and that happens as you go further into Act 2. The beautiful light over the desert gets darkened as the place, the corruption begins to take hold. So the thing about the cube is what's inside can't it's not accessible, right? I'm gonna carry it with me. It's gonna be fine. But what I mean is, if you put a charm in there, the game doesn't access it. You've got to look inside, so it's accessible but not active. Is what I should have said, because that's what's right and not what's dumb. That reminds me, we don't have any armor at all on our dude, so we should just pick up this crude scale mail. I can't carry anymore.
I'll put that to good use.
It's not good, but it's something. Got a nice well. Wells are the best thing in the game for summoners, so Shrines of Health or Mana give you just that, but wells give you stamina back, they heal and fix all of the status ailments that you may have going on, and give you half of your stamina, and they do that for all of your summons and companions as well. And they refill. Now, if you drink both of the drinks, then it takes them like a longer time to do it, but if you just take one drink, you can come back in a bit and get another one, and each one does about half. So that's nice. And here we go. Time for the scavengers. Realized my clay golem had gone missing. So it's actually like super excellent that we found the Far Oasis checkpoint that quickly, because there is, well, what is frequently described as the hardest area in the game. It's not hard, it's just miserable for my specific build. Here we go. The lair. So 21 gold for monsters is legit, like, bad, so there's no reason to even worry about that. And now we've got a little brain cage on, a little shimmery metal hat. That'll go down smooth. So as you see, we've got these very, very narrow corridors. And then we'll have to fight, whatever we have to fight there. Sometimes behind one single summon. It's terrible. But we're just gonna push forward, and unlike most of what we've been doing when we try to fight, do the fights, here we're just running around, right? Identifying the potential dangers and then bouncing around, because plenty of potions, and your summons will teleport to you if you get far enough away from them. So really, you don't need to worry too much about fighting in hallways if you can get around them, and then you just, you do what you gotta do. Because even getting a single seed kill to start your corpse explosion train off of can be very, very challenging. Here we go, layer level 2, good, good. So there are probably going to be electric beetles in here. You don't always get them, but yeah, here they are. So the thing about scarabs is they're not as bad here. So the charged bolts that they do, if they hit the walls, they just disappear. and that makes them less deleterious to your friends than they may otherwise be. However, the other side of that is that I'm so annoyed because like you get here and it's like the clay golem on there, and you have to like punch them yourself like a peasant. Because depending on where they're standing, you know, you can have multiple summons hitting them at once, but oh no, too many hits. almost had to pay the Necromancer Piper there. But like tons of our summons are just stuck around the other side of that wall because their AI doesn't let them know, hey, this is a bigger distance than that, and they're just trying to go, you know, the shortest distance between 2 points, regardless of the wall. Which again, they are made out of bones, and they literally are not imbued with brain, so one cannot get too upset, and yet one is. One occasionally is. So the rockworms lay eggs, and they make other worms, and that's bad. And of course, by far the highest damage character is my mercenary, who's hanging out here in the back, being safe, and being like, I don't want to mess with all of these weird bugs. You only pay me one time, and it's true, you only pay your mercenary when you hire them, and then they are sworn to you forever. They are very loyal bros. You don't have to pay them. No, if they die, you have to pay to bring them back to life. Which I guess is sort of like a hazard pay thing. So they're like, look, as long as it's safe, this one-time payment.
I need mana.
Oh, I'll be pleased to be short of this place. Come on, nope, not here. Well, at least it wasn't a bunch of nonsense on the way to figuring that out. Sometimes, like there, you know, you can resummon your golem around in order to. Oh no! So it's like they'll just stay there, right? They'll just stay barely fighting, and all of your other ones will be stuck behind the mages, which is also why mages aren't good. It's like all of these mages are firing, right? And sure, a bunch of them are poisoned, which is the element these things are, so I should be recycling them. There we go. They're still not going to do good damage, though. But at least I'll feel like I'm paying attention. This guy, Bilethorn the Mother, those were minions, that makes sense. He has mana burn, which is just what it sounds like. It takes away all your mana, and his little constituent bros would have it too, his minions. And that's actually like it's a pretty big deal sometimes. I was like, he's not dead because he didn't drop his stuff. Like, there we go. We've got the Merc to the front of the line. And he can just pop him in like 2 hits. So, like, is it better to not have summons at all? But I can't, like, believe that, right? That goes against the things that I believe as a Necromancer. Because if I'm not, if I'm not supposed to be turning bodies into skeletons, then what am I even doing here, right? Like, literally what? Am I the baddie? I'm gonna go get more potions.
Hello.
How may I help you?
The way that it chooses to sort is like how no person would ever sort it. Because, like, if we can just get our mercenary in the front row here, right? Then he should be able to just churn through all of this. Here we go. Now we are going. But it's like, then he'll just, like, stop because he's, like, chilling. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why my friends do what they do.
I need mana.
My friends and skeletons.
I can't use this yet. I need mana.
Alright, so that's super annoying. We're gonna try to go around this way, I guess. I feel like we're gonna run into similar problems here, but yeah, there we go. We got one telly through the wall, so that's at least something. I'm like, but it's a mage though. Oh no, I'm trapped. No, I'm not.
I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet.
Like, yep, just another pathway. That room up there does look promising though. Sometimes you're supposed to go right, but you gotta choose.
I need mana.
When you're a young person, you just have to figure out who you are, Are you gonna go right or are you gonna go left? And that's who you are forever. Oh, there was one there. I'm like, what is getting me? Where are all the other ones at? Anyway, we dropped the mages because they do so bad in here. But hopefully, maybe that's what I do wrong every time. Maybe it's the mages that are bad. Nope, we got another shoulda gone right moment. It's all good. I mean, it's just gonna be an agony if I just walk right. I mean, just all I had to do was turn right, just a little bit down. Oh man, that. Oh, Lair, where is thy sting indeed? That's hilarious. We're gonna take one more point into Skelly because the base was 5, and I felt that was good. So now, if we get an item that lets us take off the thing for Ray Skeleton, because you know we get something that makes it advantageous, we won't be down a number. Anyway, skeletons are better than mages anyway. I just wanted to get them, you know, for the meme. Skeleton mages are not good. They are bodies though, and I usually will take 3 just because 3 bodies is fine, you know, like they basically do nothing, but most of that time that doesn't hurt you. Oh no. Alright, that's fine. I was about to port out, but we ended up doing as good as it could have been done. So this is what you want to do, if you can, in the layer, is you just jump forward like that, and then you teleport in. Some of your summons are at the end, and some of them are in the middle with you, and then it's fine. Because the only difficulty in the area is that you can't get your bodies where you need them to go in order to create damage to your foes. And it's like they can't tell that the eggs are bad guys, so they won't hit them.
I need mana. I can't use this yet. Not enough mana.
Here we go at last. This one's cold enchanted, so there'll be a Nova whenever it dies. You don't want to be low around it, or really, you know, that close to it in general, since it is a sketchy, sketchy room of danger. Yeah, and they're just like, they lay eggs all in here. It's super, super wonderful. But the Staff of Kings. That's what we're here for. That is what we got.
The Staff of Kings.
And now, if we ever start like a barbarian or I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, like a druid if you wanted, you know, but we'll have that, and that could be fun. Because it's actually like really good for the very early game to have crushing blow and open wounds, like if you want to pop Andariel. Not that good, but a little good. Really good sort of overselling it.
Not in town.
Alright, and our loyal fellow, whatever he's called, perished.
Good evening.
Kalan, yes, of course, who could forget the noble Kalan? Unless it's pronounced Halan, which it might be. And now it's time to continue onward. What we'll be looking for here is some stairs, which I actually do need to check this area right here, because I think I might have just missed them. Nope. I'm going to assume that the stairs go down to the left for the next area, and that we'll find them on this place because, well, you know, because I've rodeoed before. I've been to a rodeo. There we go. Stairs right by the lair.
I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet.
Alright, and now the crew's all back together again. There's old Beetleburst. He's resistant to magic, but not that resistance. Gore Crawler the Jagged, he is not very resistant to anything, and has already been swiftly cut down. So we're just looking for another area, which is not really a good way to anticipate what direction it'll be in. I should have checked the further left wall, but I've already sort of went this way, so we're just going to keep on. But I very much should have checked the other side there of those buildings. It's where I think it is. Nope, it's right here. Lost City has like some tunnels underneath it, but that is not the objective. We're looking for another area past it. There are wonky... Yeah, so now it's super dark, right? And if we go to town, they will remark on it. They'll be like, what happened to the sun? And I'll be like, oh, I don't know. It's definitely not my fault. Ha 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 ha.
Not enough mana. I need mana.
Yeah, they've got like that crazy fire tower there, which, while you could try to fight it, I've always found it easier to ignore. Because they're very, very high HP traps, so it's always seemed logical to me to just evade them. So here we're sort of insincerely looking for a checkpoint, but also there's another area we want to go to. Checkpoint here. Yeah, I recognize that torch anywhere. There's certain torches that, if they exist outside of other stuff in an area like far enough away from a building, you know they're one of the two torches that indicate for a waypoint, at least if you're me. Anyway, or I'm just very superstitious. It's one of those things, but like lots of times whenever I just assume something is true about Diablo 2, it ends up being true. And when I saw that torch, I said to myself, self, that's the torch that we're looking for. That's the one right there. Here we go, gnome. Here we go. Welcome to the Valley of Snakes. It's really just all about the Claw Viper Temple. Now in here are some of the more dangerous mobs in the game. They are Claw Vipers. They shoot bone spears. They dash and like can stun you a little bit. They are not your average foes. Now, on normal, they're not crazy, usually, but you can get in over your head. If you get a pack that's, like, very strong or very fast, those are both modifiers that uniques can have, you might be in for a real bad time. And then there's a confluence of other mob types around them that could get things pretty nasty, too. Here we go, Claw Viper level 2. We already found it. Claw Viper level 2 is the same every time. To get to the middle altar, you've got to go around, so we are just going to hang out here, knowing that this is actually a very easy Claw Viper temple, since we got to avoid essentially the whole thing by finding the path down immediately. Because in Diablo, there's two kinds of danger, right? There's inherent danger, and then there's danger from lack of information. So inherent danger, I would classify that as a room like this. The mobs are in the same place every time. They might be slightly different types, but you know where the room is. There's only a few handfuls of zones in Diablo that are known entities, where you know where the walls will be, where you know what you have to do. Bam, Amulet of the Viper. Now you're supposed to put this together with the other thing, but it's like a really good item, so I'm just going to hold on to it until we have to put the staff together.
I can't do that.
You have to.
But yeah, you do that, and then you get the light into the world again, which pleases them.
The Viper. Hello.
Yeah, so you put the Viper Amulet in with this, and you make the Staff of Kings, but we don't need to do it yet. And the Viper Amulet is better than our amulet right now. It's actually a lot better, so we're just going to hold on to it. What we want to do now is be like, hey, what do we do? We've been everywhere. And then we show up here, and this dude's like, hey, I may not pass. Well, let me talk to Jaren about this. And he's like, actually, you may pass. There's a ridiculous problem happening here.
I have heard of your many deeds of skill and I can't do that here.
Oh, maybe not. Do I have to put it together?
You may.
I'm actually a little hazy on what's going on here. Okay, so now I have the staff, so now I can go talk to the guy. I was like, I feel like there's a reason why I'm not allowed to do what I'm doing here. Okay, I have now totally forgotten how this game works. Talk to Drognan. And after I talk to this guy, then I'll be able to go in there. Okay. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be an expert. I've rendered myself an expert in the eyes of the people, and yet now I can walk down in here. Man alive. Here we enter into the harem. Now the harem is not what it sounds like. There are no ladies here. The only thing forbidden is this blunderbore who's about to hit us. So for the harems, the exits, the way the doors are, the palace cellar, they might be slightly different, but you're trying to go from corner to corner, right? And then in the last one, there's a portal in the middle. But right now, we just know that we're trying to get down to this corner. And there's, I think there's one in like the top right corner as well as the bottom right, but you just, pick. Where's it for that the portal is on? It's been a while. Alright, so this is actually such a large amount of guys that we are just going to back up and do this fight the real way. Both because experience is good, and also because if I get backed into a wall or something, that is a lot of dudes, and I would prefer to be here with nothing but safety behind me. Oh man, that was a hard hit.
I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet.
And we are bouncing out real quick. Because we lost our mercenary. And by lost, we mislaid him. He's gonna be fine.
Yes, citizen. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet.
But anyway, sometimes you have to know when to run away. You actually always have to know when to run away, but sometimes you won't. But unlike in the universe, aggression in hardcore is not always rewarded. Here we go. And now we enter the portal into the Arcane Sanctuary.
This is fantastic. I wish I had.
So there's 4 different ways to go, and this there's no way to know which way is correct without map hacking, which we're not doing. Let the record show that I am not admitting to map hacking in the past either. But so you choose a direction and you follow it as far as it goes. This is not one of the better ones to take. So some of them, they all have a different aspect, right? Like you have this one, which is stairs. And there's one that's like teleporting things, and then there's one that's like long pathways. Stairs is bad. I shouldn't have taken stairs. Stairs is perhaps the worst for summoners, but we're already going here, so, As you see, all of our summons are hopelessly lost up there. The good thing is that if you feel safe enough to run down, this is one that lets you do a bit of a run by. So these guys, they do a firewall. It's not a crazy powerful firewall, but it's strong enough to hurt. You don't want to stand in it. the Ghoul Lords are incredibly obnoxious for a lot of reasons. Not least is that they are big and chunky and stop you from running forward. But anyway, this is the agony of the Summon Mancer, right? This I should have went the other way, but we're already like a third of the way down, and I got a good feeling, right? Like, when you've got a good feeling, oh no, not Champion Lords. All right, we are going to, not because I'm afraid, but because when you pop in and out, all of your summons go to the area. And with Champion Lords, we actually want to get on them pretty soon, or it's possible that we'd be in for a bad time. It's a little annoying to do it to reposition, so I don't do it all the time, but sometimes it's quite called for. And it's always an option for a summoner, you know, if you're getting frustrated with the placement of your summons for a quick town portal hop. Of course, teleport is better, but one does not have access to teleport at this point in the game. No matter the wealth, you still got to grow up a lot before a summoner can do that. Now, we're doing it again here. This is a sketchy place to be, but I know if I have my summons here, we'll be able to just walk behind the bodies and pop them. Sketchy, but not what I would call hyper dangerous, right? Because in spite of the magical nature of those guys and how they do AoE, they're not doing tons and tons of fire damage yet, so it's not like we had to panic about it specifically if we were in there. We knew that there were Hell Clan, but we figured, hey, if we're in with all of our other guys, that'll be okay too. And it looks like it's a miss. Looks like it's a miss, maybe. But we'll have to go down into the center here to be certain. There will be a platform with a nice chest, though. I really, really wish my mercenary would just teleport here. Alright, we did go the right way. Which is not perfect because my mercenary is acting like a moron rather than a smart boy. Alright, so the summoner... Oh god, this is bad. I'm not going to be able to get there at him. Alright, first we're going to take this portal. And then we're going to run up here. I'm going to die. I made it out. Okay. One hit from death. I'm an idiot, but I made it out alive. Alright, so we just need to get some more guys real quick. I hate the summon AI in this game. It's fine for almost everything. Unless, you know, you need to make them go up or down stairs, and then they act like Claptrap. Like, stairs? I can't climb stairs. So we're just going to go to this one because we know there's bodies. Now, normally you can only have one town portal per person, but this one was made by a shrine, and so it's permanent. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if we can go in here and not die to the summoner, shall we? I mean, it should be fine because now we're all right here. There we go. We did it.
I can't. Corazon's urinal. Oh, journal. Yes, well, glad you found.
It is an honor to serve you.
I can't do that here.
Alright, blood golem, blood golem. No, we should really, yeah, have a more universal. Alright, so now all we have to do is we'll pop back into the halls and look for more bones, because
I can't use this yet.
we're about to be in the part of the game where I'm definitely gonna die. Act 2 boss. Alright, no, whatever. So we can pop back into the sanctuary here, because there was something I wanted to loot.
I can't use this yet.
Hey, look at that. Look at all the stuff on the belt. Some of it I even care about. So, for this you have to look in your quest log, and there are tombs and they have little things on them. So this little half moon upside down, that'll be where we actually want to go. There are 6, 8 tombs at Tal Rasha. There's a lot of them. And once I had a friend who thought you just had to look through all of them until you got to it. I was like, you just look in the quest log, bro. You just got to read the thing. But, I mean, who among us has not pretended to be totally lost when you could have just clicked on the part of the game that tells you what to do? I did that just earlier. I'm like, what do? I don't know where to go. So this is Triangle Tomb. You got them on the little stele outside of them. And this is... So it's got a half moon, but it's got a little circle above it, and that means it's not the proper tomb. And there are not any on the bottom wall. It's all right side and left side top. And here's Arrow's tomb. That won't do. And here is little swirly, maybe it's a sun tomb. That's also not the droid we're looking for.
I need mana. I can't use this yet.
Alright, so... Much better. and square, so it looks like it's going to be the final tomb we look at. You know, if only we would have gone left. Now there would be one more past this. So now we're in the tomb. Now the tombs can have any of the sorts of mobs that we've expected from so far in the act in them. It's not necessarily one kind for the right tomb. So sometimes you'll have very dangerous mixes like claw viper scarabs and like poison guys and ghoul lords, but sometimes it's a little more easy than that. We're just gonna run all the way down here. Yeah, like a boss. So we already found the chamber. Maybe putting the frost damage on it wasn't good though, because now he's popping bodies, and that's bad. All right, so
I need mana.
what we do here is chunk this in. And in a very legally distinct from Indiana Jones way, this is going to show us the path forward. Alright, so let's talk about this boss, because I'm about to die probably. Their name is Duriel. It's a very small room. There are no additional mobs. It dashes, it punches, it hits real hard, and it slows you. So we're going to eat this thawing potion real quick, and then jump to it. The first thing we do when we go into this Talrosh's chamber is drop a portal to get out, and now we're just going to be very safe. You see, he has already melted all of the summons, but if we get him to focus on the clay golem, yeah. So you see there, it's already almost like he's already killed almost everybody. He's got an aura called that like slows them all.
Approach and let's trade.
And of course, I don't have any direct damage stuff, and there's no extra bodies there. So you enter into this totally preposterous pattern of like going into the past to grab some bodies. But you know, you do what you have to do. This is the way to beat Duriel. Like if somebody knows a different way, you tell me, right? Because I don't think he heals while I'm doing this, so we're just gonna to run right back to it, right? Because we can try to Iron Maiden him, but I don't think it's like can you Maiden him? Does that work? Does the yeah? See, he's already like that. I mean, it did some damage to him, but yeah, the blood golem just melts too fast. And it makes you wonder, like, how do they think you're supposed to beat him? Like, but that's the thing about Duriel is I don't know. All the act bosses are like crazy hard for a summoner. I think you're just not supposed to play them, right? Because eventually they heal a lot, but also eventually you just get somebody else to help you do it. But this is literally the only way I know how to beat the Act 2 boss. Because you're a necromancer, right? What are you gonna do? Punch him? He's actually very hard for everybody.
I can't use this yet.
Because there's not a lot of room to run around. He melts
I need mana.
a mercenary in just a couple of hits. And I guess you could like level up a ton. I don't think it would help. But importantly, in normal mode, he doesn't heal. So you just do this and you have like a 30-minute fight where you run in and out. Now the only thing is you could theoretically forget hey, we got out with him alive. You could theoretically forget to buy enough town portals because you use so many doing this, and then go in and not have any more. So we're gonna
Good evening.
go buy some more town portals real quick. There. But I really don't know what they were thinking when they designed this boss in particular. It seems like bad. Like I don't know. I have never played a character that could like actually stand up and fight against them. And I don't know how you can play smarter in a game where you point and click abilities. You can bring like a lot of people in, but again, like the game is theoretically balanced around playing with a single person. They do increase like the HP and mods and stuff of opponents if you have more people in the world. But maybe there's some secret that I don't know. I doubt it though. I think it's just a real roadblock. Because if you're not playing hardcore, right, and you die, you can still just run right back to where you were.
I can't use this yet.
Well,
You know, pick up your body to grab your stuff and start all over again. So, you know, perhaps what I'm saying is like, I don't know how you're supposed to beat him. It's like, well, you're supposed to die like 15 times. And what I'm doing by trying not to die is the aberration. But should just be like one more. Because see, he killed all 4 of the skeletons right there. And then, so it takes him, what, 4 seconds?
Stay a
And I
while
don't
and
think
listen.
spending more points into, like, the skeletons makes him live any longer there. Because he just churned through all of them as soon as we go in. And then a couple more seconds for our other guys. But hey. I'm like, nope, I've left my...
Hello again, Outlaw.
I just need some enemies. Where are they?
Use this yet.
And even though he kills them in like 2 seconds, you're just not gonna not go in with skeletons after all. Because that is like 2 seconds that your mercenary has to do 2 seconds worth of damage. Alright, we know there's a lot of bodies there at least.
good day.
Alright, one more time with feeling. Alright, we got out with 1 hit left on the guy, so that's good. Like I said, this is not riveting gameplay. It's just literally like I don't... I actually don't know what you're supposed to do besides this. I don't know. And so that's what you have to do. It is super annoying,
Use this yet.
but I think that, you know, that's just what Diablo is. You literally have to do this if you want to beat the boss of Act 2.
Use this yet.
Because if I was a different kind of Necromancer, I would still have not much more HP than I have. I would still do not a lot of damage, and he would still be able to kill me in less than 3 seconds. I don't know. We'll throw Maiden on him. Maybe that's better. Nope, it doesn't seem much better. Hooray! We did it! Hey, and we got a heavy belt. Heavy belt has another row of inventory, right? No, I don't think it's got a fourth one. It might, though. I thought it was a plated belt that had it alone, but... So Duriel has, like, trash drops. Everybody knows that about him. That's another reason why he sucks. And then this hole in the wall falls down. And who shall we find but Tyrael? He'll be all tied up. Well, just standing there, really, but
For my
being like, thanks for freeing me.
I did expect you earlier. I am the Archangel Tyrion.
I came too late. Now, destruction is let loose upon the world one.
The Ark.
This is
And they're all like, exposition, exposition, exposition. And we actually need some more strength. Yeah, like we need to pump here. We need to get to like 45 pretty soon. But we're just gonna pop in here, and he's gonna be like, wow, you've done well. And I mean, like, not really. And then we walk over here to the dock or something, and somebody offers to take us. Is it Warov?
Now that never fear. Good day.
No, that's right. He's only how you go in the first place. It's by the water, right? Yeah, Meshif. That's the guy.
Greetings. I'm Mashif, captain of
Meshif.
I make Jared.
There we go. Act 2. Put it in the bank. And that's how to not die to Duriel. It's a performance you'll see again in Act 3 and Act 4. And, you know, probably Act 5.
I stood in the doorway between light and dark. What was left of my sanity. Good day.
And then here is Act 3. It is called Karast. This town is called Karast, rather. And it is miserable. Oh man, it's just the worst. Everybody hates Act 3, but it's okay. It's huge and windy and jungly, and they've got all sorts of nasty mobs. It's great fun. We're not going to do it right now, though. I'm going to take a break. I got some stuff I got to do today, but I just wanted to play a little bit of Diablo 2, and now I've done it. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Diablo 2 Hardcore, where we, you know, against some odds, ended up at level 18. It's a good level to be at for Act 2 completion. Then you get to like 24 or so, and then you're like, bam, now I'm ready to get to Act 4, which is a shorter act. and we'll see where we go from there. But anyway, thank you so much, and perhaps I will see you in another stream or video.